Gun fam, what's up? It's the Gun Brother. Thanks you for tuning in. Welcome to episode 2 of Guns and Beer. Today we're going to talk Maryland HQL and gun rights advocacy. Gun fam, thanks for tuning in. It's the Gun Brother. Gun fam, what's up? It's the Gun Brother. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 2 of Guns and Beer, and today we're going to talk Maryland HQL and gun advocacy groups. So let's get into it. All right, today, local brewery, DC Brow, on the wings of Armageddon, Imperial IPA. That's what I'm gonna be sipping on. And been getting a lot of questions lately about the Maryland HQL and what is the status of that. So the status is, last month in November, a 3-judge panel from the 4th Circuit ruled the Maryland HQL as unconstitutional. The state of Maryland had 21 days to respond or appeal or whatever they wanted to do. So the 21st day just passed. Last week, the Attorney General asked for the full appeals court to rehear the Maryland HQL case. So what that means is, instead of a 3-judge panel, it'll be the whole 4th Circuit, and I believe that is 15 judges. So they're going to rehear the case. So in the meantime, yes, the Maryland HQL is still in place. You still have to have an HQL in the state of Maryland as a Maryland resident to purchase a handgun. To all of the out-of-state people, it doesn't affect you at all. But what it is it's a 4-hour course: gun safety, storage in the home, basic firearms, a minimum round requirement of 1 round of live fire, and all the Maryland laws. You have to do your fingerprints and all that stuff, and then they give you a card. It is very inconvenient. It is very unnecessary, because even after you do all that, when you go to purchase your firearm, you have to have the Maryland HQL card. They still do a 77R, and they still do a background check, and you still have a waiting period. So yes, cumbersome, unnecessary, crazy, additional, unconstitutional. It's already been ruled. So yes, so for Maryland, it is still in place, and you do have to have it to purchase your firearm currently. Now, just wanted to look at this article about it, and there was something I actually did not know. So you'll see Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown on Tuesday asked if the full U.S. Court Appeals for the 4th Circuit to rehear the case in which the panel of 3 judges ruled that the law requiring handgun buyers to get a license was unconstitutional. So that's where we stand. This is the part that I wanted to touch base on, and then I wanted to talk about about gun advocacy groups if you don't support one currently. My office will continue to defend the laws that are designed to protect Marylanders from gun violence. Only law-abiding citizens go and get their HQL to purchase their firearms legally, not the criminals who are committing the gun violence. But this is what I didn't know, that so the Maryland HQL was part of the Maryland Handgun Safety Act, or Maryland Safety Act of 2013. So 10 years ago, they put this in place. Prior to that, all you had to do for Maryland was watch a safety video, print out the fact that you watched it, and take that to the gun store when you wanted to go buy your gun. So that was our process prior to that. That is the current process right next door in DC. All you do is watch the video and print up the certification at the end that you watched it, and it teaches you all the same things that we do in the Maryland HQL class. So it's not like the gun world was all in hell back then, and it's not like people don't still use the same practice. So ruling the Maryland HQL unconstitutional shouldn't really have been a big deal. But let's look at this. I didn't know this, that this was the Maryland HQL was in response to the Sandy Hook shooting. And that's what this article says. In response to the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School, Maryland lawmakers passed a gun control measure in 2013 that required people purchasing a handgun to first get the HQL, which involves fingerprints, firearm safety course, and filling out an application. when we talk about gun laws, preventing gun violence, or in response to gun violence, it never makes sense. There's nothing in the HQL class that would have prevented what happened in Connecticut from happening. Okay? So in other words, the criminal act that took place or the negligence that took place isn't going to be stopped because somebody takes a class. It isn't going to be stopped because there's a new law in place. No matter what law is in place in what state, murder is still illegal. And in most states, having guns on a school property is illegal. What other law why would you think that writing a law saying that you have to have a handgun qualification license to purchase a firearm would dissuade gun violence? It just doesn't make sense. So that brings me to gun advocacy groups. I am new to this part of the firearms world and fighting for gun rights and stuff like that. I mean, I've always trained law enforcement or security officers, and because, as I said, up until 2013, there was no class required for Marylanders, so we didn't have much contact with the civilian or retail world, as I call it. DC couldn't even own guns, so there were no classes to teach back then in our area at all. Most people just watched the video, bought the gun. Now, my eyes have been opened to a whole world where we do have to have the gun advocacy groups fight for us. So because I'm a witness to it. As the couple of cases that we've won recently, my local gun advocacy group is MSI, Maryland Shall Issue. I had no idea that this whole time they've been fighting for gun rights for the people in this area forever. So that is the group. So I joined and I support them financially, and they are responsible for a lot of recent victories here in Maryland. And I don't want to recommend any particular groups. I want you to do your research, but my recommendation is support a national one and support a local one. Those are the boots that are on the ground for you and your issues specifically. And then nationally, the bigger groups are also, sometimes they support the local group, sometimes they're both on the lawsuit together. But I'm seeing changes happen and battles being fought that I never knew were being fought. I've always been a member of the NRA because I had to, because of my instructor credentials. And I would read in the magazines how they were, fighting for this case, fighting for that case. And I always paid my dues anyway, so I was a part of it. I never really understood how involved it was of them fighting these lawsuits. So, like I said, do your research. Guys, if you're watching, chime in. Who do you support? I don't want to choose it for you. I don't even want to make a recommendation. I just gave an example because Maryland MSI is my local one, and I am a part of the NRA because I'm an instructor. I'm also a part of National African American Gun Association, and so those are my two large groups, and MSI and FPC. I also am a supporter of FPC. I don't even know what it stands for right this second. But anyway, so that's my take on it, and I think you guys should Firearms Policy Coalition, I think it is. But anyway, yeah, get a group, man, and support it because they are supporting you. They are really fighting for our rights. It's not just a money grab. They do need your support, and they are supporting you. Please chime in the comments who you're a part of and why, so other people can see it and other people can do their research on these groups. And as a 2A community, we gotta stick together. With that being said, Gun Brothers out. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Cheers.